Yeah. Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh. Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Ba'asham Rakal Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elders, the bishops, the elders in Connecticut, the brothers in the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. As you can see, I'm doing a lesson on Jews and Gentiles, and basically it's hey, because you guys say that the laws are done away with, this and that, and it's basically like this, it's pretty much what that is right there. And then, but there's even Jews that do this, so they're considered Gentiles, right? So, because they do their own thing. Because right here it says Jews worship one true God, follow the laws. The laws follow God's laws, and had food restrictions, right? With dietary laws, right? Then it says God created all. God loves all, which that's not true. God don't love everybody, and He don't love all. He don't love all things. So that's BS, right? See, that proves you do your own thing. But this part is true. Like Gentiles, they worship many gods, which that's what y'all do today. Even when you so-called go to these Christian churches or Catholic churches or Apostolic or Pentecostal or Jehovah Witness or what is that shit? King's Hall. What is that thing called? Lutheran, Seventh-day Adventist, Islam, all whatever, Buddha, whatever you believe in, is all BS, man. And you worship many different gods, technically. Follow man-made laws, which is what you do. You follow Esau. Esau's laws go. The Lord says this. You say, but the white man said that the law, this you could do this. Don't you? It's legal to smoke weed now. Anything goes, right? So that's basically where we're at. So let's go ahead and get started. Yeah, so this is Romans chapter 3, verse 29. Is he the power of the Jews only? Right? Talking about the Most High Yahweh, right? Through his only begotten Son. Right? Because that's how we can get to him. They're two separate entities. The only way you can get to the Father is through the Son. It tells you that. That's why they can't be the same person. It doesn't make sense. Right? So, is he not also of the Gentiles? So it's a question mark. So then this being, you see it's a question mark. Question marks, who are these Gentiles that it's talking about? That should be the biggest question mark that come into your mind. Because you're thinking, oh, everybody could come in. See, you just got to believe. It could be anybody, right? No, this is going to be a telltale thing. Paying attention to it, not you just going off of your feelings or your hopes or your imagination, because you want to be part of the covenant, you want to be part of the blessings, you want to be part of being able to get to heaven and all this other stuff, type of stuff, right? Which your vain imagination of what you think heaven is obscured in itself, because heaven's going to be on earth, and not only is it going to be on earth, all these other nations are going to be put into slavery. All these other nations are going to go through hardcore bondage, and it ain't going to be no "We Are the World" singing "Kumbaya" with every tongue and kindred and stuff like that, because those tongues and kindreds of the world and who may look like other people are talking about Israelites. It's not talking about everybody on the planet, right? And this is going to prove it. Simple scripture, simple way to break it down. It's going to prove it in itself, right? Yes, of the Gentiles also. So yes, those Gentiles too, right? Seeing it is one power, Yahweh the Most High, which shall justify the circumcision by faith and the uncircumcision through faith. And by faith or through, it's pretty much the same thing, but it's saying why one is of the circumcision. One know that they're the Israelites. They were born under custom, or you have come back to it like us. Those who are in the know now, right? You've woken up. The Lord giving you the eye salve, giving you your measure of faith, right? To come back into this, right? To know that you're Israelite. And then you got some that there's Israelites out there that still don't know that they're Israelites, which would be the uncircumcision. They don't know it, right? Because the main thing that this is talking about is talking about the circumcision of the heart, right? Because mostly what the Lord is talking about, the circumcision of the heart being lob, which is your mind, right? And we're going to prove that too. But this is proving that this is talking about the Israelites, not talking about every Gentile out there. Because there's two different Gentiles. There's the natural Gentiles and there's the Gentile that's Israelites, that's in a Gentile state of mind. So we're going to prove that. So is it seeing it is one power, Yahweh the Most High, right? Through His only begotten Son, because that's the only way you can get to Him, right? And through that you have faith, but through that it's grace. So being that you have grace, right? So which shall justify by faith and the uncircumcision through faith, do we then make void the law? Right? Simple question. Right? So just because you have faith, whether you're, because it says the circumcision is by faith. Right? So you both still have faith. The uncircumcision, right? Another Israelite who don't know about truly like keeping everything, wearing the fringes, this and that, but they're coming to the know-how of being like, okay, well, maybe I'm an Israelite, and maybe this and that, or they got questions in their mind. They're starting to think something is stirring them up to where they're waking up a little bit here and there, but you're not supposed to come and just jump all over them, right? Right? So you got to kind of lead them into that. So it says, so do we void the law through faith? Because this is what people will say. Well, I'm saved by grace, and I came into the faith, and when God found me, or I found God, or however they try to phrase it into this phraseology of saying you don't have to deal with the law anymore. The laws are done away with. But the Lord, a simple thing right here. He's asking you, is the law done? Is the law actually done away with because you got faith, or because you got grace? You know what I mean? And the reason why I know grace is not saying it right there, but the reason why I'm saying grace, because only by grace can you have faith, right? Because it tells you that it's a gift. Grace is a grace period. But let me get. So do we then make void the law through faith? Yahweh, the Most High, the power forbid. Yea, we establish the law. So what do establish mean? Right? So this in itself proves that they're only talking about the Israelites. Right? So this is established. To set up an organization, a system, or set of rules, right? The law, statutes, commandments, the set of rules. on a firm, right, which means you're not moving. You're unbudged. You ain't moving. It's the same. You're not going to change. You're firm on what your opinion is, right? Or what your system is set up to be. Or your rules is set to be, right? Right? Like the law, statutes, and commandments. It says, or permanent basis. Right? Permanent. So when you're saying that we established the law, let's go back to that real quick. So let's go back to this real quick. So now that we know the definition of established, and established means what? On a firm, which being firm is meaning you're unmovable. You're not gonna budge. You're firm. You ain't gonna change your mind. Or on a permanent basis. So it says we establish this firm law. We establish this permanent basis law. Right? Okay, yeah, this is 1 John chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever, right? That must mean everybody, right? Since people like take this world and Gentiles and let's just throw this all together. So whosoever, right? Committed sin, transgresseth also the law. So whosoever, so mean that all of you have transgressed the laws of God. And the Lord already said, should the laws be done away with or avoided or put away or done away with, right? Because that's what void means. And he already said he forbid, God forbid, the Most High forbid it. So all of you are transgressing the law? But I thought only the Israelites were given the law. All right? Wait, let's see if that's the case. For sin is the transgression of the law. Oh wait, the Israelites were the only ones who were given the law. So that means only the Israelites can sin. Right? And not the whole world. Or not everybody. Just because it says Gentiles. Right? And ye know that he was magnified. Who? Talking about Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was magnified to take away our, that's a possessive thing, our sin, right? The Israelites who transgress, who what? Under the law. You know what I'm saying? Right? For sin is the transgression of the law. In the law or of the law or under the law, right? Of Moses, right? Who only the Israelites were given to. So that's what your transgression when you sin. The laws of Moses. Right? And he take away our sins for those who what are under what? The law. Right? And in him is no sin. Who? Yahushua. He didn't sin at this time in his life period, in this time period. In his past lives he sinned, but in this life period he didn't sin. Right? Yeah, so this is 1 John chapter 14, verse 6, right? And it says, Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, because the Lord spoke Paleo-Hebrew, right? And there's no E's and there's no J's in any ancient alphabet, right? So we know that is a new letter. It's only 400 to 500 years old. Giorgio Trissino is the one who created it, right? An Edomite. Said, unto him, I am the way, the truth, because you got to get to the truth in order for you to really truly be serving the Most High. The truth, I am the way, the truth, the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. right? And you got to come through him, what, by way of what? Truth, right? So they can't be the same person, right? And that those laws, that's not done away with, right? Because the Lord said, what? You establish the law. And establish means to firm and permanent, right? Permanent law. The law is never done away with, right? And the Lord himself kept the law, right? Throughout his ministry, right? Yeah, so this is Romans chapter 2, verse 23. This is the blue letter Bible. It says, thus that make it thy boast of the law, right? And you may think that we're boasting of the law, but no, we're just stating the facts. The whoever transgress against the law, right, is a sinner. Because sin is the transgression of the law, right? Right? So the only ones who got given the law was the Israelites. So that's how you could prove that that's talking about Israelites, right? Even in this, right? So it says, through breaking the law, dishonoreth thus the Most High power, right? So it's talking about those regular Israelites, the ones who grew up in the customs. You boast about the law of this, the law of that, and because you're proud of your, because it says you're supposed to establish, right? The customs. To establish means to be firm, to be permanent. See, but you think just because it's firm and permanent, you could talk about it but not be about it, right? So that's what it's basically saying. It's not saying it's everybody, because matter of fact, it's going to give you for the name of the Most High is blasphemed among the Gentiles through you, as it is written, right? And what Gentiles is talking about? It's talking about the Gentiles that's actually Israelites, right? Because you got Gentiles that's actually of the other nations, but you got Gentiles that's actually of the nation of Israel. And we're going to prove it right here. And here we are, the same verse, Romans 2 and 24. This is the translation going into the Hebrew. I'm going to roll down here. There's Gentile, right?
Strong's G 1484, ethnos.
Right, so they want to give you ethnos, right, which goes into ethnicity, right? Right? And one's ethnos or ethnicity will say what person this is. It's not talking about everybody. See, so this says a multitude, which a multitude is an ethnicity, right? A multitude. It's not talking about everybody, but the multitude that it's talking about is a specific ethnicity, ethnos, right? They put it in there, right? Whether of men or of beasts, right? So whether it's the ethnicity or the species of the beast or the species of the man, right? A company, right? A group of people, company, troop, swarm, right? A bunch of people, of people. Their nationality, basically. I mean, they're saying everything but saying your nationality. Multitude. It says individuals of the same, individuals of the same nature or genus, right? Genes. So who is it talking about? So when it's talking about Gentiles, it's not talking about when you bring up Gentiles, you think it mean a Gentile from China, a Gentile from from Russia, a Gentile from London, a Gentile from from wherever else on the planet. You could just whosoever believeth, right? But this is talking about actual people. They're going by every means of telling you it's talking about these Gentiles are Israelites. Instead of just saying it's talking about the Israelites, they're not doing that. They're beating around the bush, right? But they're basically telling you it's talking about the Israelites, the human family, right? But every human family is not what is it of the same nature or genus. You know what I'm saying? We're not all the same gene, right? Right? Living together. Everybody don't live together. No, your Pacific nation may live in a certain area, and all your lives that way. Now, the only way it's all different now is when you're in America, right? Even though there's certain pockets of America where it's still like that. You go to certain places, you ain't gonna see nothing but a bunch of white folk, and those are sundown towns. You better get out the out that town before the sun go down, or you're gonna get lynched, cause you don't got no business over there, right? You know what I'm saying? A swarm. Everybody's not the same swarm. Everybody's not the same troop, right? You're like even if you're dealing with the military, the United States military is not the Russian military. It's not the Russian troops. They're totally different. See? But they're going to give you this blanket thing. The human family. No, 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 no. That particular family is that family. Right? And we know that so-called white people are not even human. Hue goes into color, and man being man, and you're barely even that. Right? A tribe, right? Talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, nation, people group, right? Right? And this goes into where now you're getting the understanding that there's two different Gentiles right here. In the OT, which is the Old Testament, foreigner, nation, not worshiping the true power, pagan Gentiles. So it's telling you it's two different Gentiles right there. There's the Gentiles, that's the Israelites, which because they're not going by saying that the multitude, this, that, trying to say human family, but then it's telling you it's the same nature, same gene. The Israelites is the same nature, the same gene, even though those are Gentiles, right? And then you got the natural Gentiles who are pagan Gentiles, and then they're trying to refer to it's just of the Old Testament. No, it's continuous. The Most High never change, right? Right, even right here it tells you that Paul used the term Gentile, or used the term for Gentile Christians, right? Right. So I'm gonna come over here to Acts 11 and 26 to prove to you that the Christians are Israelites, right? It's not talking about everybody. So, and when it says, and when he had found him, he brought him unto Antioch. And it came to pass that the whole year they assembled together, right? They were there to teach in Antioch, and they taught there for a whole entire year, right? And as you be somewhere for a long time, for a while, you kind of get like a little reputation, or people know you as a certain thing, right? They give you a nickname, or something happens, right? You find one or two people, or somebody will know you by some, either it's by your good deeds or by your mistakes, but they're gonna know you, right? You've been there a whole year, right? A whole year. They assembled together with the church and taught many people, so they're known for teaching, right? So this is what they're known for teaching for a whole year. And the disciples were called Christians first. Not a freaking natural heathen, right? A pagan heathen who has nothing to do with the Most High, because it doesn't even make sense. So you were into all your pagan gods and this and that, and this is our lifestyle, our custom. It says for us to establish the law as our customs, as our rules. So why would you, as a regular heathen, just take on our rules? To take on the things that we're firm on, right? Right? To take on the things that's permanent, right? Because that's what it said in the definition. It said to be firm or permanent, to establish. That's what establish means. So we establish the law. So if we establish for something to be firm and permanent, why would you, as a natural heathen, take on our thing? For what reason would anyone do that? Whatever rules in my household, you ain't gonna go, oh, I don't know, I'm just gonna take on that. You don't even know anything that goes on in my household. So how would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Right? Even when all the nations used to come to Solomon and speak to him and get wisdom from Solomon, they didn't just all of a sudden start keeping the Passover, start doing all these different things. They never did that. They would take the little things that he told them about this or that or another, and they did that. Anything else that had to do with our rules, our laws, our firm, our permanent things, which mean establishing the law, they never did it. Right? They first called, right? And the disciples were called Christians first in Antioch. And in those days came prophets. See, that's us. The Israelites. Only Israelites are prophets. From Jerusalem unto Antioch. Right? Yeah, so this is the 3rd John 1 and 4. I have no greater joy than to hear that my children, which are talking about the Israelites, which really Apostle Gabar says should be Bun. Bun means son, the sons of Israel, right? Going into the 12 tribes, right? Because it was always dealing with the sons. Because Jacob, which is our father who wrestled with an angel and became Israel, had a daughter, but they never named a tribe after the daughter. They only named the tribe after the sons. So it should be sons of Israel, or sons walk in truth, right? Right? The letter J is only 400 to 500 years old. His name is not Jesus. It's not named Yeshua. It's not named none of that stuff, right? It's Yahushai, right? And to walk in truth, you have to understand that the Gentiles are talking about Israelites, right? And that's the same thing. It's continuously a continuous story through the whole entire Bible, right? So it says that my children walk in truth. Beloved, right? Talking about the Israelites. The only one they call beloved are Israelites, right? And not just any Israelite, the Israelites that's walking in truth and in sincerity, who's not just an Israelite outwardly, braggadocious on, on your outward apparel, but not actually truly serving God. You want the praises of of man, right? You want the credit with people, but you don't want the credit from God. You don't want to truly serve the Most High. You just want to look like you serve the Most High, right? And that's basically ultimately what it's saying. Beloved, thus does it do it faithfully whatsoever, thus do it to the brethren and to strangers, right? Which going into that, those strangers are Israelites, not talking about everybody, right? I'm gonna go ahead and prove that. Yeah, so this is Acts chapter 2, verse 5. And there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, devout men, right? Because this is during the time of the Passover, and then going into was it the what's the thing with the 50? Nah, I need okay, yeah, this is Acts chapter 2, verse 5, and and when and there were dwelling in Jerusalem Jews, right? Israelites, devout, right? Men out of every nation, out of every nation under heaven. Acts chapter 2, verse 5, blue letter, going to translation real quick. Devout, let's see what it say.
Strong's G 2126. Eula base. Eula base.
Eula base. Taking hold well, carefully, or surely, continuously. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. Yeah, so it's weird that here it is. This is the definition of devout: having or showing deep religious feelings. Right? Feelings come and go. It has nothing to do with your feelings. Right? Commitment. She was a devout Catholic, which doesn't make sense because these are Israelites. There ain't no such thing as Catholic. That shit is made up. Right? Religiously. The only thing I like is devoted. Right? Devoted. Very, which they kind of do generic things. Very loving or loyal. Right? Which that's a generic thing of being devoted. But, because we already stated that we're to what? Establish the law, which is to be firm and permanent about the law, which is what? It's our customs. It's part of our nationality. It's our custom. So it's not something you're just having feelings about, or you're devoted, or some Christian religious thing because the Lord doesn't believe in religion. It's not religion. It's our nationality. So yeah, I'm gonna come back right here. So this is Acts 2, and now I'm on 6. It says, now when this was noised abroad, noised abroad. Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man, right? It's not talking about every nation just because it says every man, right? It's talking about Jews, devout men, right? Jews, not every person on the planet, though they came out of every nation under heaven, right? Because they came for what? Because the Passover, then Pentecost is 50 days or so after Passover, and this is the customs that they're devoted to because it's part of their customs, right? It's part of their nationality. It was a law that was all the way back, right? Thousands of years before they were even born. And they all kept hold of it because they're customs, right? Which that's what we're trying to come back to. Which when the Lord, He's going to set it up all the way. So it says, yeah, multitude came together. We're confounded because every man heard them speaking in his own language, right? Because they were living in other places, and other places that these Israelites were scattered to, right? The diaspora, which means Israelites being scattered all over the world, right? Or Jews scattered around the world, which really, the northern kingdom got, left before that, 1,000 so years before that. So it says, and they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, behold, which means feast your eyes, look, pay attention. Like, you pay attention. What the heck is this? Like, you know what I mean? Are not all these which speak Galileans? And see, in Galilean, they're actually of the circumcision. But not just only that, they're the offscouring of the circumcision. They're the ones that even the circumcision look down upon, right? They're like the ghetto. That's why when he said there's the Messiah, and then that guy, he said, "Can any good thing come from Galilee?" Why? Because Galilee is like the ghetto. It's the hood, right? So they spoke a different kind of lingo of Hebrew, right? A Paleo Hebrew. So he definitely wouldn't be called Jesus, right? So I mean, it's just absolutely absurd. So it says, or Yeshua, or all this other nonsense that they come up with. So, Salakia, I mean, and now here we, every man in our, another possessive thing, in our own tongue, talking about a language where they grew up at. Not necessarily it's their tongue or their nationality, it's where they grew up at, because it just said they were all Jews, devout men, right? And these are Jews that's not just being Jews, right? Inwardly, but also outwardly, but also inwardly, right? Or at least it's what the Lord is setting up, so they could be not one just inwardly, they could be one outwardly. That's why the Lord's allowing them to hear these men of Galilee, which is an offscouring of all Israel, right? At this time period. And they were amazed at it, and they marveled like, whoa, right? From what's his that we tongue wherein we were born, right? They were born in these places. They were Jews, they were still Israelites, but they were born in other places. Of all the places under heaven, Parthros, Parthros, Medes, and the Medes, Elam, the dwellers of Mesopotamia, and in Judea, right, which is Jerusalem, right, and Cappadocia, and Pontus, and Asia, right? So all these different places all around the world, they heard them speaking in their language where they were born at. And these people are Galileans, so they've never spoke any other language. And not to mention, these are supposed to be unlearned men. These are unlearned men, right? Right? Yeah. So this is Acts chapter 4, verse 13. Now, when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, right? This is because they're from Galilee. And that's basically how they see us. You're from the ghettos, the vadios, the reservations. You're just unlearned men, right? They marveled and they took notice, they took knowledge of them that they had been with Yahweh Shai, right? And that's us, man. We be with Yahweh Shai every day, man. Day in and day out, Yahweh Shai's in us. That's why we can go through these precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, break this down the right, correct way, right? And then these people are still, you know, I mean, they're not even on the milk because they're not even scratching the surface. When you're saying the laws are done away with, when you're saying you can eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, when you're just when you say that you're a sinner and then you don't know what sin is, you're not even scratching the surface, right? So call volume Yahweh, Basham Yahweh Shai, Basham Rakal Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. Salutations to the Akim and the four winds, preaching the truth of sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader with meekness and with silence. And a Baba Ball.